Right, so this is a suggestion via channel member. Guys, let's check it out.
Welcome back. Another shooting by a federal agent yesterday to report, this time in Portland, Oregon. Two people shot and wounded by a U.S. Border Patrol agent after allegedly trying to run him over. DHS says the driver is believed to be a member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Massive protests have been breaking out in Minnesota and across the country after the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good. She's the woman in Minneapolis who was shot by an ICE agent, as the Trump administration is maintaining that the agent was acting in self-defense. Some Republican lawmakers are calling on President Trump to arrest Minnesota Governor Tim Walz now because he's threatening to deploy Minnesota troops against ICE. Joining me now is Virginia Congressman Ben Cline. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. This is going around and round in a wild circle, attacking ICE and then ICE firing back. Your reaction?
I said that 2 days ago,
you have a loss of life, it's a tragedy. But what we have here is law enforcement engaged in enforcing the law. And what we need is for Americans to respect that action by law enforcement and to allow law enforcement to continue to do its job. And when we see these tragedies occur, to have the governor of Minnesota inflame tensions by talking about using National Guard troops to prevent ICE from doing their job, that's not only irresponsible and dangerous, that does cross a line.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, but, you know, agents and officials are trained when you're shooting, you're going to shoot to hit. You know, that's the training.
That's guys, anyone that has had any type of training in firearms, bro, you're not shooting for the sole purpose of a warning shot. Generally, warning shots are illegal, right? So if you have to pull out your firearm, basically you get to the point where you're going to brandish it, right? You're going to have to default. You have to use that, bro, right? You need to stop that threat if that's if you're going to pull it out. So yeah, he pulled it out. He utilized it.
They are feeling like they are in jeopardy or
like anyone
vulnerable. They're going to shoot back.
That.
But how are you going to stop this? What can you do as an elected official to stop this back and forth?
Stop fanning
the
flames.
We have to continue to remind the people that protest is protected under your First Amendment right. That you are not allowed to interfere with law enforcement in the performance of its duties. When the Biden administration allowed more than 10 million illegal immigrants into this country, and Donald Trump was elected president with a mandate to remove those people and secure the border, he is doing that. He is doing that in the most safe and secure way possible. But the American people, while they can express their
we have a video
to
coming
ICE,
up on this instance
not,
right here,
and must not interfere with ICE in the performance of its duty.
Yeah, of course. 17 House Republicans, meanwhile, voted with Democrats yesterday to extend Obamacare subsidies for 3 years. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said once again yesterday there's no appetite for the extension in the Senate. So the path really is unclear here. But what do you want to say about that, as well as the House passing a federal funding package yesterday of $180 billion, both parties overwhelmingly supporting the final package of 3 bills, even after GOP pushback earlier in the week over the Minnesota fraud concerns, Congressman?
You know, it's a busy week in Washington. We have an agenda, America First agenda we are trying to enact and put in place. But right now we are trying to undo years of malpractice by Democrat administrations like the Biden administration, like the Obama administration. Obamacare is broken. It is a broken system. We can't double down with subsidies, extended subsidies that just paper over costs and take taxpayer dollars and send them directly to insurance company CEO pockets. That's not what we should be doing. We should be putting this money in the hands of taxpayers, giving them more options to choose the health insurance plan that's right for them. And then moving on to the spending bill, you know, we need to undo all of the Pelosi-Biden language, the Green New Deal language, all of these regulations that were put in place by the last administration and the last Congress. These spending bills do that. They spend less than a continuing resolution would under a shutdown scenario or under a shutdown scenario. So these bills were important, and moving beyond the Pelosi administration is something I think all of us can support.
And do you feel confident
Pelosi speakership.
And do you feel confident that you're at a point now that there's not going to be a shutdown because you've got progress and momentum moving on these bills?
I do think we have progress. I think, bills aren't perfect, but we continue to work with all different factions to make sure that these bills are the best that they can be. And remember that you can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, and we have to move forward beyond these Biden-Pelosi era spending bills.
Yeah, understood. Well, the Senate advanced a bipartisan resolution yesterday to block the president from using further military force within or against Venezuela until he gets prior approval from Congress. 5 Republicans joined all 47 Democrats on that vote.
That's going to happen.
Including Kentucky's Rand Paul, Maine's Susan Collins, Missouri Josh Hawley, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, and Indiana's Todd Young. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer spoke after the vote. Watch this.
Look, people don't want endless war. And when even before we know what they're doing in Venezuela and what they want to do in Venezuela, they can even accomplish, and we don't even know how they're going to accomplish. They start talking about Colombia. They start talking about Mexico. They start talking about Greenland. The American people are saying, what the hell is going on here? And what's gotten into the president's head?
I don't know, probably you, right? A couple of years ago when you were telling President Biden specifically to go get Maduro. Maybe it was him. It could be that. It literally, like, legitimately could be your specific speech that you gave. Maybe. Who knows? I mean, just a thought here, guys.
Congressman, what's your reaction?
What's gotten into the president's head is he's looking out for the American people. He's protecting the American people from drug cartels, from drugs that are coming in, killing American citizens, destroying American families. And by delivering this warrant and administering this warrant, and he needed special forces to go in to be able to arrest Maduro and deliver him to justice in New York City. This has precedent with Ortega. This has precedent with past presidents. Obama, Biden have used American forces for narrow strikes when necessary. This is not about war with Venezuela. We're not.
Yeah, but you're naming people that the left likes.
Forces for narrow strikes when necessary. This is not about war with Venezuela. We're not declaring war. And as the president said, he's not sending in more troops into Venezuela because the delivery of that warrant and the administration of justice to bring Maduro back has been accomplished. So what we can do is say that Maduro is going to see justice and move forward with how we can work with Venezuela and the new leader of Venezuela there. She's going to be coming to the White House, and hopefully there can be a better relationship that will ensure that the Venezuela people benefit from the oil that's there, but also that the American people can be safe from the drugs that were killing Americans for so many years.
All right, we want to hear more about how this is going to work, where the U.S. is controlling the Venezuelan oil fields. Congressman, do you want to give us a sense of your expectations there?
Well, I think that's a step down the road right now. We need to be focused on Maduro. We need to be focused on the crimes that he committed and the administration of justice there. There will be time, and the president is acting swiftly to bring oil companies in to talk about rebuilding the infrastructure. I think that the benefits need to be with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we rebuild the lives that were destroyed by the past dictatorships. But we also need to make sure that as far as global energy goes, that prices stabilize and that we continue to focus on an American first energy policy that focuses on American energy production and independence for American producers and lower costs for American citizens.
Okay, guys. Okay. All right. Listen, Tim Walz is maybe he's pissed off that everyone is basically going against him, calling him like a fraudster and all of these things. I mean, I'm just trying to understand why someone that is like a sitting governor would attempt to create like open rebellion with the United States of America, specifically against federal agents, by saying we're going to go ahead and utilize, our National Guard against federal agents. How do you get to that point, right? Like, is it that things are starting to get so extreme that we're now looking at a scenario where governors are going to start immediately saying we're going to go ahead and basically, for the most part, go to war against the federal government? Is that the time that we're in right now? And do they actually want that time to exist? Because the precedent that would definitely be set by doing that would not be the most amazing thing if the Democrats ever kind of fix their issues and get back into office, right? You understand how crazy that would be, because if you think, right? If you think that red states would not do the same exact thing, like times 10, you're crazy, all right? Stop setting these crazy, wild precedents. Like, don't do this. It's silly. Like, this is the federal government dictating and mandating that this is what needs to happen because you're doing nothing about it. This is what's happening here. And then your direct response is, we're going to go ahead and use our state military against the federal government. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, guys. What times are we in right now, bro? What is this? All right. Like, nothing feels real anymore. Right. Like, we need to be able to kind of meet in the middle and have conversations about like fixing things. That's kind of where we are here, guys. That's where I'm at. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies. And I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings. And we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry, right? Listen, like and subscribe.